good teams. And so maybe there's less pressure on me. Maybe they have more ability to be a good team, but you know that everyone is calling for your head if you're the defensive coordinator immediately.
Yes, and so you can chime in on this. We don't need to pop this up as a Siding Unlimited poll question on ESPN Madison's Twitter or at Jim, Matt, and Molly, but 844-770-3776, that's the Cardinals Talking text line. List is more. Who do you think, who does a better job hiring assistants, Dan Campbell or Coach LaFleur? And Dan Campbell, and I believe, I'll give credit to where I heard it. It was Adam Hogue from Hogue & John's podcast with The Athletic, is he was doing some stuff for the Bears talking about the best coordinator hires. And it's someone who has been a coordinator. Like, for an example, the hire of DeMarcus Covington, having someone who's been a defensive coordinator to be your D-line coach, that is a good box to check. Now, the negative box is there's no real crossover with LaFleur, so they haven't really worked together. I don't know if Covington's worked with anyone else on the staff. So that's a negative, that he hasn't really worked with the rest of the staff, but it's less important for, like, a line coach than it is for, like, your defensive coordinator. Like, the defensive coordinator hired Jeff Hafley. That was a little bit, like, there was not a direct connect. They had
right.
But it worked. But those are, like, get a little bit dicier. The promotion of Sean Mannion, now again, this is quarterback coach, not OC, but even the promotion of Stenovich and bringing back Getsy is, all right, you have connections with these guys, you know them. So when you're trying to hire people, that either you're promoting or someone that you've worked with before, or then someone like, again, like the Hafley fits this part. He was a head coach, and then he's going to defensive coordinator. So you can kind of run the defense. So there's been some good hires, but LaFleur hasn't fallen under that.
And he also brought in Robert Saleh this past year, which I think it ended up being an impactful thing throughout the course of the season. It's definitely
helpful. You're worried that he's not around then this year?
I'm not worried, but I understand why that happened, right? There is no defensive coordinator to be. The fact that we got him for half a season, I think, was good because it built that relationship stronger. It increases, the things that everyone in that room learned, because Robert Saleh is a good defensive coordinator. He has been fantastic. The Jets, despite being, a terrible franchise last year, I learned during Minute to Win It, had a fantastic defense. Who knew? They were pretty good. They didn't play a whole lot, and teams didn't have to run up the score on them because they couldn't score because Aaron Rodgers is in that.
The Jets have had a good defense for a couple of years.
But exactly. They've been good. And so you get, at least a little bit of something out of that, and I think that that's a credit to LaFleur for bringing him in.
844-770-3776. You can chime in. It's a Siding Unlimited poll question. I don't know if we need to post it on social, just because it's going to be a landslide. Nobody's going to pick.
Do you think so? I think people are still jaded with Joe Barry. They're jaded with Rich Bisaccia, especially after he got his extension.
Okay, we can post it then.
I think it's a worthwhile question. They had to fire the D-line coach, Jason Rebrovich, after 3 years of no production from Rashawn Gary and
Packer fans
others.
aren't thrilled with the Bisaccia. And then Clements, that's a LaFleur hire, but that's also like, I'm coming home.
And he had been with the franchise.
That's
since
what I mean.
Favre.
That's like coming home sort of thing.
That doesn't count. That's a legacy.
Yeah.
So we can ask a question: Who do you think does a better job hiring assistants, LaFleur or Dan Campbell? Because Dan Campbell hired these assistants who are being poached away. Now with Detroit, to the point of they're hiring John Morton as their offensive coordinator. He was with Detroit as of 2 years ago working with Ben Johnson. They kept their offensive line coach, and they kept their passing game coordinator, and they kept their QB coach. So they kept, Ben Johnson, by all accounts, is obviously a little bit of a wonder kid, at least on paper, as offensive coordinator. And so there could be a step back there, but at the same time, it might not be massive because Morton has experience. He knows these players. He knows this offense. It might not be as creative or zany as it has been, but it still can be effective. But then also the rest of the staff is staying.
Right, and I think, for the Lions' sake even, there's a chance that getting a little bit less zany is good. They tried to be a little too fancy a bunch of times, and some of it worked out, some it did not.
Mark Brunell staying with the Lions, I think, is important. He's their QB coach. Mm-hmm. He's been around the same time with Jared Goff. They did lose their assistant QB coach, but JT Barrett was working more with Hendon Hooker than he was with Jared Goff. So keeping Brunell around is important. The passing game coordinator is staying around is important. The most important part, the offensive line coach staying. And then you look at defensively, they promoted Kelvin Shepard to defensive coordinator. Now, Shepard's on the staff. Defensive coordinators, to me, are so much harder to nail down if they're good or not, because I think it's about culture and discipline. So Aaron Glenn did that as a coordinator. But outside of Spagnuolo and maybe a few others, like Jeff Hafley would fall into this. I think he set a good culture and the team was more disciplined. Is he some sort of play calling whiz and some sort of defensive guru? No. Maybe he'll get there, but there's only like a few.
Right.
Vic Fangio being one of them, and Spangio and Spagnuolo being another one, but there's just not, and they're usually around for a long time.
And you need a guy in the middle, a middle linebacker, a captain of the defense who knows what the heck is going on, and can opt into different plays and designs.
Yeah, that's all part of it too. But so I mean, and this is not knock against Halfway. I'm just saying that like Dan Campbell, because here's the other part of it. Dan Campbell would fall into the category of like John Harbaugh, a culture setter. Who, or even honestly, Jim Harbaugh. Like Jim Harbaugh is not reviewed as like, I wouldn't call Jim Harbaugh some sort of offensive wizard. He's a culture setter who then hires the right assistants, do the things he doesn't want to do at Michigan or wherever. But like, and John Harbaugh.
Who hires photographer?
Right, yeah.
Sock stealing.
So John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, Dan Campbell. I'm trying to think of, Belichick was this as well.
Oh, like, sure.
There were guys who were, you're setting the tone. And you are a tone setter. Mike Vrabel's like this. And Mike Vrabel, as I said before, not an offensive coach. His OCs were LaFleur and Arthur Smith. Both guys who, LaFleur, a great coach. Arthur Smith is unquestionably a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And so he could identify talent.
And that's one of the things that, you keep coming back to with LaFleur.
Pete Carroll will be another name there.
Oh, absolutely. With LaFleur, it's like, is he the tone setter? Because he's a wonder kid as an offensive coordinator. He's a genius. I like what he does there. He clearly has control of the locker room, and the team continues to be fairly successful. We haven't seen a Super Bowl yet, but he's out there doing the right things, but is he truly setting the tone in the locker room? Because you have a bigger problem with Jair Alexander than I do. I think most people do. I think I give a little bit of credit to Jair, but maybe he didn't need that surgery. Maybe he is a bit too much of a diva. Where's the punish? Like, obviously, we see he got the 1-game suspension, same with Lazard, but it keeps happening where people are so upset that they feel that they can take things into their own hands. And is LaFleur setting the tone saying that's inexcusable or not?
So, off of that,
did I say Lazard? Dobbs. My apologies.
Yeah, but also to the idea that this brings up a bigger question. And again, for me, as a fan of a bad team that cycles through coaches, we're in this perpetual, do you want culture setter? Do you want leader of men type? Do you want defensive coordinator? Do you want offensive coach? And offensive coaches have the highest variance, I think, like Shanahan, obviously, and then you had McVay and LaFleur is successful, and then you have O'Connell. So, and these are all they were all successful as their first time being a head coach. And so that obviously works. There's been, Mark Trestman, Adam Gase. There's the long list of other, Josh McDaniels, the other ones that just flamed out. And it's hard to fully nail down what they're going to be. I think all you can do, and I'm sure the Packers did this, of like talk to everyone, talk to as many people as you can who played for that offensive coordinator. Talk to as many people that they knew growing up. Like, what were they as a player if they played football? What were they as an assistant? What was their work ethic? What was their? Because even if you're not fully developed as a leader, if you're doing like LaFleur with the Commanders, if you're not fully developed as a leader there, but you're putting in that work ethic, and then you kind of over time develop your leadership style. Leadership is not LaFleur's strength. He builds it's not a massive weakness. I would say it's.
I've seen some of his post-game interviews and press conferences.
Would you guys say that his leadership abilities are limited?
Yeah, he was limited.
I wouldn't say limited. Like,
on a limited basis.
His deficiency to me is hiring coordinators.
But Jeff Hafley seems to be a pretty good hire.
This is your third time through,
right?
And your offensive coordinators.
He didn't hire Mike Pettin though. He inherited Mike Pettin.
Okay.
So he did keep him.
But he also had to cycle through a special teams coach.
Fantastic
and his assistants have been trash when they leave. So that would be more of he is a good play caller. Hackett and gets like his assistants offensively when they leave are terrible.
And Hackett was again an Aaron Rodgers thing more than anything. Like Aaron Rodgers is trying to play GM.
Not with the Packers though. It was Getsy and Hackett with the Packers for most. Like that was that.
They
window.
had been there before LaFleur.
I know that, but like he still had a choice to keep them.
True.
So I would say, and again, I'm not saying it's the deficiencies. I'm not saying he's deficient, like below average, but his deficiencies would be hiring head coach and leadership. His positive is he builds a great system, connects with develops quarterbacks, he's a good developer on offense, and he's a good play caller and offensive. What's the word here? Like schematics. Like he creates a good offense, he develops offensive players, and he sets, and that is what his strength is. That would be his plus. And I think the other ones, if you don't want to call them deficiencies, they'd just be that flat line of like, it's fine, like as leadership.
Limited.
Yeah, on a limited basis.
He has a high floor amongst all things, I think. I mean, like it's not like he's got basement deficiencies where you've got a glaring like should not hire red circle, and that's why he got the job after
Yeah, he's not deficient. Well, he got and this is the other part of it. He got the job because he did a good job with Tannehill, and like they liked it. And like you're gonna get your job, like they're gonna hope that you can lead, but it's off for as a coordinator. It's gonna be what did you do? And he was a good offensive coordinator, and he got the job because he was doing a good job the 1 year he called plays. So he's not deficient. I'm sorry. He's just his deficiencies doesn't mean he's deficient or below average at them. But I would say he's only plus on developing offensive schemes and players.
That's the only thing
that he's plus on. I wouldn't call him a negative on anything, but I wouldn't call him a plus on anything but that.
He's a B plus at the very least.
No, I said plus. It's either plus or minus. A plus equal or minus. I'm only calling him a plus on the play calling, developing offenses, play calling, and developing offensive players.
Ryan, were you on Monday? Did you have that stat about being tied with Nick Sirianni for most wins or something like that?
I think through their first whatever many games, they had the exact same record.
Yeah, one had Aaron Rodgers and one didn't. Like,
yes, that is a big difference.
And I'm not saying Nick Sirianni's plus on anything. Like, I don't know if Nick Sirianni's a plus on a single thing.
He's supposed to be that culture guy, CEO type.
So maybe that's what he is. So getting back to the question, how
many coaches are plus?
This is not about like I don't want to hear any feels about LaFleur. LaFleur's a fine coach.
I'm trying to hear what you have to say.
I would say like Andy Reid, Belichick.
Yep.
Trying to think.
Tomlin.
Yes.
Pete Carroll? I like Pete Carroll a lot.
So here's the thing. Like for me, LaFleur is fringe top 10 coach.
Currently active.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Because it's neither here nor there. He's your coach. On the other side, let's talk about the type of coach. Because the culture setters are ones that I feel like are the best, but the hardest to acquire. Like, they're the one, like, that's actually the unicorn. It's just the hardest unicorn. It's a unicorn. You can't, it's hard to find.
It's not a
narwhal.
You
can go for the culture setter and miss bad, and it can be ugly quick. Just like on offense. You could try to hire an offensive guru, and it could be a miss. You know, you can miss on defensive guys. Look at Coach LaFleur. I mean, Coach Eberflus. I mean, like, you can miss across the board. You can miss a lot of different ways. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Outside in. That's what we call our Siding Unlimited showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. All the stuff defending the outside of your home against Wisconsin's weather displayed inside. Many siding options and colors, plus full display of Pella windows and patio doors and roofing too. Wisconsin's own Siding Unlimited, 4-time National Pella Platinum Premier Contractor of the Year and proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, awaits you inside our showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. SidingUnlimited.com.
When it comes to your body, you want to trust a doctor, and you want to trust the experts. That's why the only place that you should consider going for GLP-1s and semaglutide is Carbon World Health in Madison, because they're run by Dr. Nestor Rodriguez. They have a workout facility and trainers to help you reach your goals, and they can help with dietary suggestions. The experts for semaglutide and GLP-1s is Carbon World Health. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
It's New Year, new deals at Metro Ford of Madison. With 204 new vehicles in stock, Metro Ford is your home for the best selection and the biggest savings of 2025. Enjoy the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, $15.97 per thousand borrowed. Or get the future of driving with the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 72 months. But hurry, these deals end February 3rd. Visit Metro Ford in person or online at metrofordofmadison.com and drive off in the new Ford of your dreams today.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I have to do it on my paper. There they are. I'm Jim Rutledge. I need to read my name. Well, there I am. I'm Jim Rutledge of Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I'm Jim Rutledge.
He's Alex G. We're in the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. We did throw out a Citing Unlimited poll question and a couple of them, but we did put one out on Twitter specifically that I want to get to, and then we got Evan Cohen coming up in a little bit. But you can chime in 844-770-3776 on the Carbos Talking text line. List is more. We asked the question, who does a better job hiring assistant coaches, Dan Campbell with the Lions or Matt LaFleur with the Packers? Right now, 89% of you say Dan Campbell with the Lions. And that came to my head because Mark Tauscher brought up yesterday. And obviously, Mark is a Packers fan, and he's hopeful that the Lions will not be able to replace their coordinators. I am too, obviously rooting for a team in the division as well. I hope they can't, but I'm not optimistic about it. I think a guy like Dan Campbell is closer to the Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin even, because at this point, they were great defensive coordinators and that's how they got their job, but it's unquestioned, and Vrabel, I think, did it long enough in Tennessee that they set a culture in those places. And they have hired good coordinators, and they've established a way of winning. John Harbaugh has done that. Jim Harbaugh has done that. You wouldn't call them defensive gurus, and you wouldn't call them offensive whiz kids or offensive gurus. You'd call them culture setters.
Right.
And if we brought up a list of coaches through the league, culture setter, I think, is the thinnest. If you look at the hires right now, Aaron Glenn, he's a swing for a culture setter.
Yeah.
He's a swing for it. And it's hard to say if it's going to happen, but the reason why I say he's a swing for a culture setter is because he's already said, I'm not calling plays on defense. And so he's saying, I'm going to coach this whole team. And he, at that press conference, kind of went old school. And so he is trying to be a culture setter. He's trying to be Dan Campbell. I'm not saying that, but right, that type of guy. But then let's look at the other hire. Liam Cohen, he's the whiz kid guy. He's trying to be he's going to try to be the next Kyle Shanahan, screams the next Adam Gase or Josh McDaniel. But we'll have to wait and see on that.
He looks goofy.
Josh McDaniel, honestly, I think his problem was that he's just an unlikable jerk. I think by all accounts, I think that's the problem for him. And that should be ferreted out pretty easy. I think Liam's problem is going to be, he's going to have to lead. Honestly, it was different, but it gave off Eberflus vibes to me of, he's trying to be your buddy, be a player's coach, and, Eberflus had a nickname for everyone on the team. Just dumb stuff like that. And Eberflus also had an acronym.
Yeah, you are so out on acronyms.
So lame.
I don't know. I guess I haven't been a part of an acronym team in a long time.
My Urban Meyer acronym, by the way.
You gave it to us on Monday. But still, it makes me feel even worse about Luke Fickell every time you say it.
I know.
Team.
I don't love it. That's my red flag.
Is it because
what the hell does team stand for?
That's the thing.
It's college.
I don't think anyone knows.
I think you can get away with more in college.
I will, not just because he's the Badgers coach. College, you can be a little bit hokier. These are grown men. These are grown-ass men.
Acronyms work for 20 to 22-year-olds.
If
18 to 20
if we
year
had
olds.
a brand new market manager or someone, program director, whomever, come in, and they just said, I operate under the
ESPN acronym?
Yeah, exactly. the radio acronym. And here's what it stands for. Radio always
does
on.
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
Everything awesome, but spelled with an O.
Yeah. So
everyone's Spurs potential network.
There you go. So, like, again, it's a nightmare. It's such a big swing. So then you have the Saints don't have anyone, right? Mike McCarthy said, you know what? I'm going to coach next year.
Is Mike McCarthy a culture guy? Is that because he's not rah-rah?
He smashes watermelons. Remember? What? You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember
when the Cowboys were really bad 2 years ago, Dak Prescott got hurt. They were on their third backup, Ben DiNucci or whatever. He was trying to get him up for games. I think they beat the Vikings one game, and I think he came in and he smashed watermelons in a team meeting to get him hyped for a game.
That does, I guess that does check out because he's not like some defensive guru, and he's certainly his offensive scheme is just be more athletic and get open.
Honestly, he's a quarterback guy.
Yeah.
He gets the most out of the quarterback. That's his thing.
He's a football guy, honestly.
But also, he's like a floor lifter. You see it all the time in basketball, like a Scott Skiles type, a Billy Donovan type. These guys who, honestly, he's Budenholzer, but he just got the ring. Budenholzer is not a great coach. He's a good coach, and he raises your standards and puts in good processes and can set you up for success. He just got a ring because Kevin Durant's foot was an inch bigger than
yes, 100%.
And I love the Bucs, and I love that ring. But same thing with McCarthy. He honestly was a B+ coach.
Well, and here's the thing,
coach
though,
who got an A+ player.
Right, and you talk about that, and where you were talking last segment about the deficiencies that Matt LaFleur has, the big one that stands out to me is he doesn't have that rah leadership style, and neither does Jordan Love, and so it kind of leaves this void at offense where it's okay, are you just going to outthink everyone?
Football! And that's tough to do. And so, that's what we have to figure out, what's LaFleur's next step as a coach? We always talk about Jordan Love, his next step as a quarterback, but what is the next step for Matt LaFleur as a coach? At Canopy Wealth Management, they are a fee-based advisory firm. They don't chase commissions and never back gimmicks or instruments that chase single-day returns or put your long-term goals at risk. The team at Canopy creates strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, and clarity aren't just buzzwords. They're a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started with them today. That's canopy-wealth.com. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Evan Cohen joins us next.
Hey, this is Matt's Chicago Doppelganger. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN Madison.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can lose weight quickly and keep the weight off for good with an easy-to-follow maintenance plan that includes ongoing personal support. And our program costs half as much and works up to twice as fast than most other programs. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson. I was able to drop 40 pounds thanks to Madison Weight Loss. It's the only program I've ever experienced to actually achieve my weight loss goals. Check out MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule a free consultation and see how the program can help you.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation now at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Join Dr. Lind, podiatrist at Stoughton Health, and discover how the foot works. Learn tips to address common issues like bunions, plantar fasciitis, and Achilles pain. Stoughton Health is offering a free online talk Thursday, January 30th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. with Dr. Lind. To register for this free online talk, please visit stoughtonhealth.com and click on Classes and Events. Get back on your feet pain-free and confident. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
But, it seems like you're deferring to someone that's not actually on the show. And she's already your girlfriend. Friends are people that you're honest with no matter what. So I'm questioning whether or not you actually know how to be friends with someone.
He doesn't need a pat on the back. He's not you. Well, who's a good co-host?
And Evan Cohen, who co-hosts Unsportsmanlike right here on ESPN Radio.
From Madison to the Big Apple, it's time for Evan Cohen on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time, at least that I've heard that open. I haven't heard this one before. I love Primetime taking some initiative and creating a brand new open for Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. You can hear Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning here on ESPN Madison. And obviously, Evan, having gone to school here at UW-Madison. Are you talking to me, Ryan? Because I'm not hearing anything.
Nope, I'm talking to Evan on the phone. We had him on hold. We lost him, but he's here now.
He is. So Alex G., Jim Rutledge with you. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light, and we're in the Everlight Solar Studio. Thrilled to be joined by Evan Cohen. You had a brand new open created. You'll have to listen next time because Prime did a great job, took the initiative to create a whole new open.
Well, I hear the Sinatra, so you never can go wrong there. So I'm good with that, and I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, that's the care factor that Prime brings to the show. We're talking like a coaching flaw, and I feel like you're a guy because you're a big Belichick guy. I feel like you're great to ask this question because whether it's this coaching cycle or if it's the just coaches in general, it seems like there's maybe three types of coaches, and the culture setter is the hardest to get right. Then there's that offensive guru guy, and then there's maybe the defensive play caller, which honestly seems like the rarest. But if I look at like Belichick, especially after in New England, was more of set the culture and then you can replace your assistants. Because we got in a discussion like Dan Campbell is a culture setter, John Harbaugh, and they've been able to, Mike Vrabel, and they've been able to replace their assistants over time and still win. And I think Dan Campbell is one of those guys. LaFleur doesn't feel like one of those guys. But what do you think the hardest coaching hire to make? Is it harder to hire an offensive guy to see if he's going to be a great coach, or is it harder to see if someone's going to be that culture setter, which I think is incredibly rare?
Well, you're going to have to tell me which category this fits into. So I think the hardest hire is the person that's always glass half full and everything's okay when things don't go well. So what do I mean by that? What if the Commanders were bad this year? It's kind of annoying if Dan Quinn is like, oh, everything's great. We're going to be awesome. You guys suck. What are you talking about?
Right.
I think about the Miami Dolphins, right? Mike McDaniel, I really root for that guy to do well because it seems like that would be a good push in the right direction in terms of leadership. Glass half, I can't say I'm always this way in life, obviously, but for you, Jim, but glass half full, and you're not either. I mean, that's why we mesh probably because we see it the same way of everything sucks, which is not healthy, right, in any way, shape, or form. But for us, as old men like we are, it is motivating for us, right? like the Miami Dolphins have a guy in Mike McDaniel, like glass half full, everything's great, like players coach, okay, that's awesome upon arrival and he does well. But then when they're not as good, why everything's not great? Like, what are you talking about? LaFleur is an interesting one because I've seen him from afar as glass half full, everything's okay. I've seen them organizationally make tough decisions, right? Obviously with Rodgers, I think they've made some tough decisions around Jair Alexander. Guys have come and gone, but he's also creative. Like the Jeff Hafley hire, nobody saw that one coming. So I think maybe the best guy to hire, which I know is the opposite of what you're asking, is the one that kind of fills as many of those buckets as possible and kind of knows who he is. That's why LaFleur is really good and has a chance to be great. Now, if he's not great after this year, I think we're having a different discussion about him. But I think that's a really hard question. I don't think it's one size fits all.
So what you say if he doesn't do great next year, Packers fans have incredibly high standards for greatness, despite only winning 2 championships with back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
That was yesterday's show.
Right. What does greatness look like for Matt LaFleur this year?
Yeah. Okay. So, here's the thing that I would look at with this. Like, let's look at 3 guys right now, active NFL coaches. All right. Let's look at Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Let's look at Sean McDermott in Buffalo, and let's look at John Harbaugh in Baltimore. 2 of the 3, Harbaugh and Tomlin, have won titles, as we know. I believe none of the 3 should be quote-unquote fired, right? I believe all of the 3 have had this. Fans have a right to have discussions about, is now kind of the time? Does it make sense for us to continue? Like, should Sean McDermott just be the coach of the Saints? Because clearly he's one of the best 32, but is he right for this job? What I think happens if Matt LaFleur and the Packers this year do not win the division, have a top 2 seed, and or in the conference championship game, and I'm going one step further, and Jordan Love is not a top 5 MVP finisher, I think there's discussions on ESPN Madison at this time next year, maybe even a couple weeks earlier than this next year, of LaFleur is a great coach. He should be one of 32, but is he right for this job anymore? That sounds nuts. I get that. But when you have that level of quarterback, and by the way, he has a new boss, does he not? Coming up soon?
Yep, as a new president, yep.
So, fired? No chance. No chance. A mutual, like, hey, this team called us and is interested in you. Like, do you want us to let you talk to him, kind of thing, you know? And maybe I'm nuts in saying this, and maybe you could sit there and say, well, they can't find a better coach than Matt LaFleur, and they may not be able to. I don't like presenting the problem without the solution, but I want to be clear on what I'm saying. All I'm saying is we had that discussion, not that actually happened.
Talking with Evan Cohen, you can hear him on Unsportsmanlike. It's weekday mornings here on ESPN Madison. We were talking. The Packers.
Wait, is that unfair what I said just now? Like, what do you guys think of what I just said?
No, literally last segment, because I have a view of, like, LaFleur, and he was getting criticized for his demonstrative nature on the sideline. He kind of loses his cool at times. Like, LaFleur, I think he has more on the line next year than Jordan Love does. The first one to go will be LaFleur over Jordan Love. Yeah. It'll go LaFleur, Love, Goody if they win 10 games next year.
If they win 10 games,
if they're jumped
all by, 3 of them are safe.
Let's say they get jumped by Chicago.
If they win 10 games, or
they jump by Chicago and they win 10 games. Let's say they both have 10 and Chicago gets tiebreaker.
It's still going to go. I think all of them will be safe. Don't you agree,
but
Evan?
If none of the other things happen, let's say Jordan Love stays 10th best quarterback, and none of the other things happen. The conversation is happening.
The thing is, the Packers don't go all in.
I'm not saying the team. I'm saying fans.
I know. Okay, well, yeah, fans will be upset about Matt LaFleur. They'll be upset about Jeff Hafley, probably. Let's be honest. They always go after the defensive coordinator. But the thing is, the Packers don't go all in as an organization fast. The Bucs, was it last year, fired Mike Budenholzer, and then they halfway through the season make another coaching change. That's not the Green Bay Packers. There isn't somebody at the helm going crazy. They're going to be relaxed. Because
there's no ownership.
Exactly. Right. And I was thinking about that yesterday, and it feels like, to a certain level, that's why the Packers only have 2 championships with back-to-back.
So let's ask Evan that question. Was basically...
Wait. Couple of things on this. Okay. First of all, if you look at those three guys, they're big three with Green Bay: Goody, LaFleur, and Love. Who's the best at their job? Not which job is most important, because Love has the most important job, but who's actually the best at their job? Because I would say Goody is the best at his job amongst those three.
I agree.
I struggle because I put that ownership level of intensity on him, and because I have a real problem with his my guy syndrome.
That's every GM, though.
Yeah.
We just know it here because it's your team.
Right, sure. Every guy.
I have that problem, too, and that's why you're sitting next to the person you're sitting next to.
Yeah. Everyone has that. I mean, it's a common thing. Like, that's a common knock for all GMs.
Okay, but that doesn't mean he can't raise above it.
Bring that up, Jim.
True, he is, but I mean, like, that's not the disqualifier. Like, and I'm not even a Goody guy, but out of those three, like Jordan Love, there's a lot of questions about him. And Coach LaFleur, he may have reached the ceiling.
And I think Goody has shown his hand, who he is. He's going to
put that up on the poll.
Yeah,
put that up, Prime.
All right, that's a Siding Unlimited poll question. You can ask. Evan Cohen is specifically asking for a Siding Unlimited poll question. We'll post that. And your question is, Evan, who is the best
of the Packers' big three? Which one is the best at their job?
Okay, so we will poll that, and I want to get to yesterday's. Well, actually, yesterday we were talking about the Packers, and it's just weird. 30 years of quarterback play at a Hall of Fame level, 2 rings. When you look at the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Steelers, there's been teams that have been able to win titles in a tight bundle. And one reason could be not having an owner. Maybe that's it, Evan. But I said maybe if they had just figured out how to keep Mike Holmgren around, and maybe they would have won more. But what is, like, from afar, what is
you can't say that because, I mean, you can say that, but, I mean, McCarthy won. So, I mean, that's,
yeah, but Holmgren got to the Super Bowl with Seattle, so maybe it wouldn't go from Holmgren to McCarthy, though. It went Ray Rhodes, Mike Sherman. So,
no, I understand.
Yeah, so, in that window, you have, like, an extra 5 years of Holmgren, and then maybe it goes Holmgren to McCarthy. So, from afar, why do you think the Packers have 2 Super Bowl rings despite having a golden ticket twice and having a 30-year run with franchise QBs?
Okay, I think the owner thing is a part of it because sometimes rash decisions aren't good decisions. Sometimes they can be, right? I think when you look at the dynastic quarterbacks of our lifetime, there is a level of humbleness that players loved Favre. Let's not get that twisted, right?
Yep.
But there's a level of humbleness that I think allows for sustainability that maybe the 2 guys in Green Bay didn't have. You hear stories about Brady, whether you love Brady or not, and I love him, where random dude walks into the locker room and for the first time, and he says, "Hi, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you. What's your name?" And they're like, "Yeah, I kind of know you're Tom. Like, what do you mean?" Right? Next time you guys have James White on or any former Badger that played for the Pats, you can ask them that about Brady, right? Mahomes. There's a level of humble. I mean, think about all of this. Like, there's nothing negative to say about Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking about some of the people around him. It's not that there's negative things to say. They've said and done controversial things, not illegal, not immoral. I'm saying controversial one way or another, right?
Yeah.
And he stays calm. He's a straight line. He's so humble in his greatness that I just wonder the humility of the greatest. Was that there in Green Bay? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was, and I don't know that. Maybe Tausch could tell you something different. Maybe Bulaga could tell you something different. But from afar, that looks different than what Brady and Mahomes look like.
Well, yeah, and you have 2 guys who've, throughout their career, had big moments of I get my own locker room. I am going on this retreat. I don't have to come to camp. I don't have to do this, that, the other thing. They both had off-the-field issues, and they didn't fire up the crowd quite the same way. We were talking about it yesterday. Holmgren was a hard-nosed guy, and as soon as he leaves, Brett Favre, his numbers dip. He gets out of rhythm. That's where he gets his own locker room for a short while, and he becomes bigger than the organization. And without an owner And without somebody who is laying the law, it does feel a little bit like with those two quarterbacks in particular, you might be getting too big for your britches. Now, what I feel good about with Jordan Love and leads me to believe that they can still win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love, despite I don't think he's going to come out to be an Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre, is that...
But he has that humility.
He doesn't have... Exactly. He doesn't have that bigger, better than you level. And I was just curious...
But here's the thing. He's not good enough to have that. So if he becomes good enough to have that, how does he handle that? Because... Brady really never did that to my knowledge. There were kind of hints of that at the end, which is what frustrated Belichick, and Mahomes hasn't even come close to that at this point. And I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't believe having a lot of money means you act bigger than now because you're richer than now. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, they're both actual sports owners right now. Mahomes owns a piece of the Royals, and Brady owns a piece of the Raiders. But they never acted like, oh, I'm better or bigger because I'm richer. Unlike Rutledge, who I know, oh my God, right. Gets people to shine his shoes now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Amen.
I want to play this clip from.
Does Primetime still do your laundry, or how does that work?
He actually just cleans my shoes now. It's winter. I moved the laundry out. He just cleans my shoes when I come in. I don't want any.
What about dry cleaning? Does he do your dry cleaning?
That would be great. Let's add that to the list.
Oh, yeah. I can add that to the list.
Awesome.
Yeah, my hands just feel like salt every day.
Yeah, I want you to dry clean them.
I'll dry clean. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. I figure out how to dry clean and whatever that means, and then.
Do they still give out Oreos at dry cleaners?
What?
Huh?
Is that not a thing?
That's never a thing.
No, the dry
I've
cleaner.
Never heard of that.
I grew up in a town of 8,000.
At the dry cleaner?
Yeah. So there were two different dry cleaners in Plymouth, Wisconsin, my town of 8,000, and both of them gave out Oreos to the kids when you'd go in with your parents to drop off suits and whatnot.
All right,
is that not a big thing?
844-770-3776. Have you ever gotten candy or an Oreo or anything from a dry cleaner? I would love to know if she's the only one.
The hard candy that's like wrapped is different than a random.
Yeah, true. Actually,
Oreo.
an Oreo.
Yeah,
an Oreo cookie specifically.
It was Oreo cookies.
Were they like super stale? Like
no.
In a dry cleaner, they have to be super dry.
There's no way my wife would let my kids take a random cookie from the dry cleaner, even if we went to that dry cleaner all the time.
But it's not.
It seems unsanitary.
Did you grow up in a small town?
I'm not saying. I am 44 years old. That does not seem that weird to me. Yeah, people handing you stuff that you just eat. Yeah, that's what being 44 was like back in the 80s. That's not something that happens now. I'm saying my wife now with our children would absolutely tell them you cannot eat that. I'll back her up on it.
They would be like open. Would be like open.
Yeah, it was. They were in like a Tupperware style container. These were like, this was for the exact purpose of like giving the kids something to be excited about when you win.
You a sucker or something.
Wait, I don't understand. Yeah. Your family never told you don't take candy from strangers.
I wasn't going in alone. I was 4. I don't know.
Did they have glasses?
Right, but that makes it worse. So your parents are actually the ones giving you the candy from the strangers?
Yes, it's from my parents. Then I don't know why this is a big deal. It was a safe Oreo, and it was given to me, and I'm a kid. I'm not going to say no to chocolate.
Yeah,
right? Of course not. But your parents should say no to you getting chocolate from random dry cleaners.
Just for the setting the precedent of you can't just take unwrapped candy from.
And I love Jim. Jim, I love how G says, "Is that not still a thing?" No, it was never a thing.
Never. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought that I haven't been to a dry cleaner in my adult life. I was just
gonna say, like you have not been to a dry cleaner.
My suit is from a box store nearby.
That place is full of chemical. Like if you really looked into this, like you ate toxic food because those places are just beaming with chemicals, and it's not a place you want to spend any time.
I'm heading over to the dry cleaner now. I just want to be clear.
Right, good.
Ironically, I just brought some Oreos from upstairs. I forgot I bought them at Costco, and I brought a sleeve upstairs. So I'm not going to hand them out to people that come to my house. Though,
are we close enough? Could I accept an Oreo from you, Jim?
Yeah, but it's at my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't bring them here because you guys would eat them all.
That is a ridiculous thing. That is a ridiculous question. You're going to equate you accepting an Oreo from somebody you literally work with for years to the random dry cleaner who you don't know?
My mom had been going there for years. We're effectively friends at a certain point. Small towns are a big deal. Like you don't understand. You know everyone.
Cleaner.
You know everyone. I went to get brunch with my pastor one day, and I got stopped by all 8 tables at a diner. You just know everyone in a small town.
How small is your town?
8,000 people. It was kind of a shocking situation that everyone stopped.
By the way, is that normal to get brunch with your pastor? Like as a kid?
Again,
first time coming back from college, it's there wasn't anything going on.
I did not do that either. My town had 11,000 people, and none of these things happened.
Was it close to a bigger city?
Cedarburg? Yeah, I guess near Milwaukee. I don't know.
No.
I just think you had a different. You can't keep telling stories about that's the normal
guy.
Wisconsin.
You really are an interesting guy.
Yeah,
you guys weren't a part of your high school trap shooting team. What are you talking about?
Oh, for goodness!
Trap shooting? What's that mean?
It's the sporting clays. So you say pull, it throws a little frisbee out.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
The school gave you
no,
guns?
I would not.
It didn't give us guns,
Okay.
but we had a space where it was okay to use them.
The dry cleaner gave him the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Prime time. Good line. Well done.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Yeah. This is so derailed. I wanted to get one Bucks question in, Evan, because today you didn't list the Bucks as a team that needs to make a trade, but earlier this year, and Prime, good producer he is, has the audio of you throwing flowers at the feet of the Milwaukee Bucks.
I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to win the NBA championship, and Dame Lillard's going to be the MVP of the NBA.
Whoa. Go on.
So I think they're going to have the year this year that everyone thought they were going to have last year.
Okay.
I think they're pretty damn good, and I think the acquisitions they've made, around the margins, are actually pretty good, and I think there's also a clear-cut, this is it if you don't do it this year.
Now, that I agree with. You had Zach LaVine from the Bulls as one of the Bulls moving LaVine as one of the trades to be done. I would love, and I've seen rumors of it, LaVine to Milwaukee. But why didn't you put the Bucks on that list? Because I think you're right in the other part that this whole thing could blow up if they don't at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they're pretty good despite their rough start, right? They're 26-19. Remember, they were not good early on. They're probably going to hover around that 3 to 5 seed right now. I think it's pretty safe to say probably more 4 or 5 than 3 at this point. And in a weird way, if the Cavs are the 1 seed, even though I think the Cavs are awesome, the Bucks probably would rather play the Cavs than the Celtics or Knicks. If I had to guess, maybe I'm wrong, in that second round, assuming they win their first round matchup. I think the Bucks Zach LaVine thing is more of the feelings that I'm getting, and I hate to even say this because I really like this guy, and I think he's probably one of the most underrated athletes in the history of Wisconsin sports. But the feelings that I'm getting that Chris Middleton may not physically be able to do what he previously has done in the role that he's in, right? So, he could go to another team and be a great sixth man, let's say, as he's doing right now with the Bucks. He's not intended to be their sixth man, right?
Right.
So I think if you're going to say, hey, we need, meaning the Bucks in this case, we need the Middleton role because Middleton can't provide that role, who's gettable that's not disruptible? And that would be a guy like Zach LaVine.
And I think he would fit fantastic. Evan, really appreciate you hopping on. Josh and Sun Prairie, not a fan of you calling your shot on poll questions, though. So, dude is a tool, is what Josh and Sun Prairie said.
Me?
So, no.
Evan. Yeah, that's what you looked at me and smiled. I got confused.
Yeah, well, because you're my co-host here.
Because
We're having a conversation.
I asked for a poll question?
Yeah. So I think Josh is just riding or dying with us. But Josh, we're okay with it. We like the question from
Evan.
Evan.
Hell of a poll question.
It is.
That's the kind of poll question.
So,
if I know Tausch, and I know Tausch, Tausch will see that poll question. Make sure he sees it. Tausch will see that poll question, and that'll be a big theme on Wilde and Tausch tomorrow if he shows up.
So the Side Unlimited poll question right now, Evan Cohen has a question for Packers fans. Which member of the big three for the Packers is best at their job? Love, LaFleur, or Goody? It is 53% Goody, 43% LaFleur, and 4% Jordan Love.
That's
right now.
Crazy.
And Josh in Sun Prairie, that's not interesting to you that the majority of Packers fans that listen to ESPN Madison, Jim, Matt, and Molly, think that Jordan Love is the weakest link of their team, of their core of their team.
I find that fascinating. And also, Ryan, our psychedelic advisor, just chimes in and says Evan is tight. So you got backers out there too. Did you know our show had a psychedelic advisor?
I did.
I think that's Alex G.
Yeah, well, no. He's my advisor. He's my personal advisor. He's my shaman in life.
He had
really.
lunch with him and the pastor.
They exchange Oreos together.
And the dry cleaner, and they had Oreos for dessert.
Right, double stuffed.
Yeah.
All right, Evan. Thank you. That's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Hey, this is Matt's Chicago Doppelganger. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN Madison.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at starionbank.com. Member FDIC. Former Badger linebackers Zach Bond and Leo Chanel will be in the big game in the Big Easy. No matter who comes out as the victor, Barry Alvarez calls this a win for the Wisconsin program.
I love when you have Wisconsin players out on the field representing us and playing in the big time like that. That's impressive, and it's an added interest for me, and I'm sure for a lot of fans. When you have a Badger right in the mix, it even makes it more interesting.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, streaming Monday nights at 6 on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel.
Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
This is our crew.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball is coming to ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every dramatic moment, every
fly ball left field. Back. Still back. It is up and gone.
Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio. This is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More spins, more wins, more fun. And also, you can find the highest payout percentage in the area when you go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Well, some breaking news earlier this morning is the Green Bay Packers finally settling some outstanding assistant coaching positions, hiring former Patriots defensive coordinator DeMarcus Covington as their new defensive line coach, and previous offensive assistant Sean Mannion was promoted to become the new quarterback coach. That's after longtime quarterback coach Tom Clements retired earlier this offseason. Head over to ESPNWisconsin.com for more news and coverage from Packers reporter Rob Domofsky. Also stay up to date on all things green and gold all off season over at ESPNWisconsin.com. Well, speaking of Madison, closer to home, the Wisconsin Badgers fell last night to Maryland, falling 78-68 on the road. They'll be back at it this Saturday as the Wisconsin Badgers will take on Northwestern out in Evanston. Badgers looking to bounce back as they keep building their bracketology resume. And then also the Milwaukee Bucks back at it Friday night. Bobby Portis slated to miss his 4th game in a row due to personal issues.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
We're learning a lot about each other.
I'm going to match your energy, and if you're going to bring false titles, I'll bring false titles.
They're not false. Your 6 are real. My 4 are real.
But they're old as hell.
So you can tell Rutledge that. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Amen.
Because I'm here for whatever. If you get food poisoning from a place, do you go back?
Like for more food?
No, if you go back ever. Like you get a bad burger from a place.
Give him a second chance? No.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside America's favorite Alex Gravatt. Here's Jim Rutledge.
Big hire, as we were talking about the Detroit Lions earlier in the show, as far as replacing Ben Johnson. They hired former Stanford head coach David Shaw as their passing game coordinator. He's 52 years old. David Shaw stepped aside of Stanford because he was just basically kind of said, I can't do the
recruitment,
the NIL stuff.
Yeah.
It's just too much. I don't want to do all of that. So now, I mean, he was being looked at as offensive coordinator for some jobs. So the Lions getting him is honestly, you could call it a senior assistant. Giving him passing game coordinator is great, but what you're really doing is just giving him a guy that, giving Dan Campbell another guy who has a good offensive mind. So I think our poll question, our first Siding Unlimited poll question, really is sliding heavily, in my opinion, towards Dan Campbell, asking who is better at hiring their assistant coaches, Dan Campbell or Matt LaFleur. And the thing with LaFleur, I'm not even saying he's not below average. I think he's league average at hiring. He has some misses, has some good hires, and he doesn't have a staff. Doesn't look like he has a staff that is like Dan Campbell has 2 people hired as head coaches. We'll have to see what happens, but his staff is being rated, and so the other coaches, if your staff's not being rated, now Halfley could be one of those guys. But so far, LaFleur doesn't have a tree. Dan Campbell's tree has started; it could die. So Dan Campbell right now is 82%. People say he does a better job than LaFleur. I think LaFleur is league average. I think Dan Campbell is going to be above league average at replacing the coaches. Then we have a second Siding Limited poll question from our good friend Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. And this one's posted at Jim, Matt, and Molly. Basically, which member of the team's big 3 is best at their job? Is it Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, or Goody? Right now, it's 47% Goody, 44% LaFleur, 9% Jordan Love.
Okay, you want to talk about being good at your job. Matt LaFleur came in and has survived a changing of era at quarterback. He has won as many games as anybody in the first however many games it was. It was like 60-some, tied with Nick Sirianni. And he's done it with very few people on offense who are flashy game breakers. He looks really good. Is he a perfect head coach? Absolutely not. Are there times where I think he calls the wrong play? Do I think maybe he's not putting Jordan Love in the absolute premier spot? Sure. I do believe that the 2 of them can do it. We're talking about the guy who paid David Bakhtiari in Gutekunst, who paid the left end Jair Alexander and Rashawn Gary. And like those
and
guys
drafted Stokes.
Exactly.
And drafted Walker and drafted other players who were
all these Georgia guys who never panned out, and now Lucas Van Ness. He's good, but like if we want to talk about it, like if we have an A, a B, and a C to give out, I'm giving Goody the C. It's average. He's been fine. He's kept the team afloat and put us in a position to continuously compete, give a few chomps at the apple, but like
you putting Jordan Love in front of Goody is insane.
No, it's not.
All right.
Like what? He brought in Jordan Love. So if Jordan Love is the worst of it and that's his best thing, then No, it's not that impressive.
He also drafted Jaden Reed and Edrin Cooper and Javon Bullard and also Evan Williams just this past year. Signs Zadarius Smith the first time around. He makes a lot of good
Josh
moves.
Jacobs, David McKinney. Like
those two, and then the Zadarius Smith, which ended up being a nightmare anyway, don't forget.
Towards the end, but the first 2 years were pretty dang good.
And TJ from the road chimes in, I guess on your point on Goody, we could ask this question. Off the top of my head, I actually don't know who the Lions GM is, but TJ from the road says, not one of your questions, but the Lions crushed Green Bay in drafting.
That's Brad Holmes is the Lions GM.
In drafting, so did the Eagles. The Eagles have completely rebuilt a franchise in the same time.
Basically, the Packers had a nice offseason. The Eagles had a elite offseason, and that's why one of them's in the Super Bowl and one of them's not.
Exactly, and so
including hiring coaches, though.
Am I going to say? And Matt
Vic
LaFleur's
Fangio was a better hire than. Now, Vic Fangio wasn't coming to Green Bay, but that was a better hire than Hafley.
Sure.
Sure. Like Fangio's going to the Hall of Fame. He's right. He's amazing.
Yes,
Hafley had one good season, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way.
I expect more good. I mean, it seems like things have been going his way. He's dealt with a terrible pass rush, which is partially on him, right? He needs to get more out of those guys, but also he doesn't have the dogs. And you know who's in charge of the dogs? Goody.
Your Jordan Love part is if you want to talk
Jordan
to me
Love's
about
the B. He's fine. He's the second best of the three.
He's third best of the three. That should be pretty unanimous. If you want to argue about LaFleur or Goody, Prime, and you can chime in 844-770-3776. Carbless talking text line list is more. Basically asking you over the big three, who's the best at their job, Goody, LaFleur, or Love. I'll hear Goody or LaFleur go back and forth. Love is not number one.
No.
And I don't think he's number two. To me, Love's three. Easy.
I would put Matt LaFleur. I think people are a little too critical of him. I'd say he's if we're doing giving out an ABC, I'm giving Matt LaFleur the A. He's an A minus. If I'm giving out the B, I think Goody's a B. He's a B plus. I think the only thing that holds him back from being an A, in my opinion, is just first-round draft picks haven't been good enough.
And the guys who he signed hasn't been good enough.
Who has he signed that hasn't been
extended? Extended. Those
when
contracts.
He extended David Bakhtiari, that was 2 weeks before he tore his ACL and then basically never played football again.
Not even. That was tough.
Yeah, that's not his fault, though. When you're judging it in retrospect, yeah, it's a terrible signing. But at the moment, it made complete sense. It made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, Bakhtiari, as much as I don't like Bakhtiari, that signing made a ton of sense.
Was he also part of the Devontae Adams bungle? I believe he was.
Well, that was also remember that's part of the Aaron Rodgers stink. He had to work around that.
And he had Aaron Rodgers, which again we got it.
But then you also assess Matt LaFleur for that. For not winning with Aaron Rodgers in that case. Because he's the one who kicked the field goal while down 8 against the Buccaneers.
That is his biggest
for sure.
Matt LaFleur,
that's why,
for sure.
And that's why I think I would probably say he's still A minus. I think he's a great, like Jim said, schemer of plays, but he has some drawbacks in in-game management, and sometimes I wonder about if his teams get up enough. But I think he's really, really good at what he does well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Goody, I think, is high level B. Jordan Love, yeah, I'd have to give a C+ so far. We don't have enough to truly say he's a B even at this point. He has the money because it was the timing you had to pay him.
I have CBS Sports. This is to start the year. I mean, you can Goody and LaFleur. Matt LaFleur to start the year, 5th best coach. I would say that Matt LaFleur this year is a top 10 coach, and Jordan Love is not a top 10 QB. So Jordan Love is not the answer as best at the job.
Would you say Goody?
So you think that they need to move on from
No.
You just said he's not the answer.
Not the answer for this question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the best either. I mean, you don't have a prolific generational talent. There are 4 of them in the league right now.
He's not top 10. Jordan Love's not top 10 QB, and Matt LaFleur is a top 10 coach. That's the end of the discussion. So Jordan Love is the worst out of the job out of those 3, without a question.
And you think that Goody is for sure a top 10 GM?
Yes.
Just the fact that he's been around this long shows that he's probably pretty dang good at his job.
But again, the Packers aren't going to move on from him.
I don't think he's outstanding. I just think he is above league average.
I think he is.
I think he's above league average too. That doesn't mean he's inherently top 10.
I think if you're above league average is 16,
right?
So then if you're above average, then he's probably very close to top 10.
And then here's the other thing: you can't put the Commanders GM in front of him. He did it for a year. So and then you just take the playoff teams. He had the team in the playoffs 2 years in a row. So if you just eliminated teams that have not been in the playoffs 2 years in a row, and that would be one way to do it, of trying to line him up. And then also you can't do the one and done sort of types as well, like Washington this year. Maybe he gets passed, but you can't put the Washington GM in front of him. You could put, obviously, Philly, is it Roseman? Like, obviously.
Howie Roseman.
Yeah, like, he's elite. And they're obviously the Chiefs.
Baltimore's GM.
Yeah.
I think John Lynch, 49ers GM.
Honestly, I would just look at the playoff picture and then over the last 2 years, put those GMs in a ranking and then pull out any one-timers.
Okay.
Like the one-offs.
I'm
not putting a Texans GM there.
I don't know his
Maybe
name. I don't know him off the top of my head.
Like they brought in Joe Mixon. They brought in the quarterback C.J. Stroud. Like they've done a lot too.
Yeah,
down there.
Well, that's because the Bears messed up and took Caleb Williams. They got lucky.
True.
Well, that wouldn't have been the case though.
What?
The Bears traded out of it, and there was Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.
Well, they could have, if they believed in C.J. Stroud enough, they could have drafted him.
Okay, but that's not a direct comp. Like that's
so
a big stretch.
Is there anything that Jordan Love can
Packers
do?
could have had Jalen Hurts and T. Higgins.
That's true, and that's I honestly, I don't know how much better Jordan Love. I don't know how much better Hurts would be in Green Bay right now than Jordan Love is.
A running offense.
You'd have to gear. If you gear the entire offense around Jalen Hurts, it'd be a very different team.
Also, he'd be throwing to Malik Heath.
That's a good point.
And
but if
Reed,
Goody's a good GM, then he builds it. Again, Howie Roseman built the team around what Jalen Hurts does.
Exactly. You said if he were a good, you're explaining how there are other guys who are far better.
Goody is trying to build a team. He also, again, I hate to have to sit here and defend him. He had to gut this team and get out the cancer that was Aaron Rodgers in that massive contract. And get out for Bakhtiari's dead contract. Like there's so much, and that
he didn't really. He just ate most of it.
But you still had to figure out how to spread that out, and that's an unfortunate injury thing. Like you had to getting rid of Aaron Rodgers and moving off of that and staying and actually getting better the next year is a pretty remarkable bump up. Like that's not easy to do, and I hate throwing flowers at Goody's feet, but. Again, the case, I think Goody and LaFleur are pretty easy. The answer is Jordan Love is clearly third in this. That's my whole point.
I think it's clearly one. Matt LaFleur is alone at the top, and then you've got a B- and C+.
Dude, you're insane. Jordan Love is maybe top 13th quarterback.
He can catch moments of just greatness. He looks fine. He's athletically has all of the stuff.
These are all ifs. These are all ifs. This is that's a lot of QBs.
He's thrown for 4,000 yards in his career. That's something that a bunch of guys haven't done. He's looked great for stretches.
So, great, Jordan.
He's orchestrated 11-win teams.
4,000 yards more times than he hasn't in his career. He's won a division 2 years in a row. He won the division in Los Angeles, and he's gone to a Super Bowl and gone to 2 NFC Championship games.
He's been to more than that, including his time in the Rams. He's a good quarterback.
Jordan Love is a fine player right now. He is a good quarterback. He is not a top 10, probably 12th best quarterback in the league.
All right.
And I get you, if you did a trade thing right now, his trade value is even lower than that. He's probably 15th. Because of his contract.
Because of his contract, sure.
Because the Patriots are taking Drake May over Jordan Love.
Taking Drake May over Jordan Love is
they're doing it. I promise you.
Because the GM thinks he's him.
He's also got more Pro Bowls than Jordan Love. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside, with inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
When you overburden, you push too hard, your Conestoga wheel falls off, and you're not going to be able to recover in time, and you end up sitting on the side of the road hoping somebody pulls up with a better Conestoga, and you got to reload next year.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Hallman Lindsay Paints, Coors Light, Made to Chill, and American Family Insurance.
Dog, I can't remember a game that was this good.
Yeah, you know what else would be great right now? Some food from the Great Dane.
I know, but we can't go right now.
Good news! The Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is available on DoorDash and Uber Eats. Stay in the game with the full menu delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Order today with DoorDash and Uber Eats or on thegreatdanepub.com. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Purchase your tickets, grab some friends, and get to the Sylvie on Monday, February 24th for Andy North Trivia Night, presented by Exact Sciences. Enjoy a fun and inspiring evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments while helping to raise money for UW Carbone Cancer Center. This fun and inspiring event is hosted by Andy North, and in addition to the trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, and prizes. Doors open at 6 p.m. Visit AndyNorthandFriends.com to buy your tickets. Past year's events have sold out quickly, so get your tickets today.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton is Madison's custom jeweler. They are Madison's family-owned jeweler. Check out Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. Whether it's custom jewelry, engagement ring, diamond ring, wedding bands, any of these sorts of things, all of it is at Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. He's Alex G. I am Jim Rutledge. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, G, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
Prime time, will or shine behind the glass. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube page, and you can chime in at ESPN Madison and at Jim, Matt, and Molly. But we're going to throw some stones.
1, 2, 3, Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
That was cooler than being cool. Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out.
I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man.
I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
All right, guys. Who's got a stone for us today?
I've got a big stone.
Oh, Alex G, did you get it at the dry cleaner?
Yeah, just next to the Oreos, between the Oreos and the detergent.
That sounds like the Oreos, yeah honestly.
Listen, man, and this is, I love and respect you, Ryan, but but what are we doing, man? How are you stole my drink, my beverage from the work fridge, just blindly, and this is not the first time it's happened. I don't understand how anyone can walk into an office fridge, look in there, and be like, yes, something I didn't bring from home. Perfect. We're adults, man. You have a full-time job. I know that you have these bubblers at home.
Yeah, just say the word. Say what they are.
Bubblers. They're my caffeinated little beverage, my pick-me-up for 2 o'clock.
Yeah, little beverage.
Yeah. They come in a smaller can than a large, I don't know.
So you're making a big stone out of a little beverage?
Yeah.
This is utterly preposterous that I've even heard that.
Listen, Jim, I mean, you have your own fridge effectively. You've got this little fridge over here.
We got a Coors Light fridge, yeah.
It's
Unfortunately, people ruined it for us, not here in Madison. We can't keep Coors Light in anymore. But.
So can I point out the fact that also I want to bring up some of the...
so you can tell Rutledge that.
Some of the best hockeys we have of Barry Alvarez.
Ridiculous.
Responding to what Jim Rutledge supposedly said based off the way Alex G presented it to him the one time. Because once again, Alex G misrepresenting a story.
Okay.
Because you're saying I just walk in and I see, there's all these things in this fridge. They're all for me. I know they're my teammates', but I just went in and just took one.
Yes.
That's not even remotely what happened, G.
Okay, but is this the first time this has happened?
G, you had your time to talk. Now it's mine. What happened was we all bring bubblers to the office because bubblers are an incredibly popular, great caffeinated drink that we all enjoy.
Yeah.
Thus, we all put them in the fridge, and oftentimes, many of the same flavors end up in the fridge. And who knows? Sometimes the flavors are sometimes indiscernible from each other when they're next to each other. Because
are you colorblind?
The colors of the flavors are more like light red and pink. And yes, I grabbed yours by accident because we both set ours on the fridge door, and you're going to make such a big deal about it. You're going to misrepresent me on the air to all of Madison because I took the wrong drink and you had to drink mango elixir instead of twisted berry. I'm sorry.
Butchering the names. You clearly don't pay attention to your bubbler. I'm sorry that you're not a connoisseur. I am. I love this beverage. And so I bring in one in particular because I buy that one. I like that one. It's clear that you don't know, and you're just grabbing randomly, how you get through an entire can without ever noticing, oh, dang, that's not mine. I don't know, but whatever.
Did you put your name on it?
No, I didn't put my name on it. I didn't know I had to. I thought that this was, there's 6 people in the office. There were 3 yesterday for most of the day, and somehow it's gone. And if this were a one-off scenario, I would maybe be cool, chill. I'm not a cool cucumber. All right? Cool. This is not the first time it's happened. It's happened multiple times, and I just don't understand how anyone can walk in and, not consider what they brought.
To Ryan's defense, we have at times had a ridiculous amount of that drink here
Last
in general.
Football season, 2023-24.
Anyways, I won't drink it. We do. My actually fridge-related stone is
Coors Light fridge?
Yeah, the Coors Light fridge. The Jim, Matt, and Molly Rutledge Hamilton fridge. We've still generously put it out there. And I was pretty clear that I said this is a beverage fridge. Because I don't know why. It's just an ick for me. I don't like food in the beverage fridge. It's not a fridge for your lunch you brought in. It's not a fridge for your yogurt. It's not a fridge for your leftovers. That's not what that is. We have a fridge in the break room or whatever we call that area, the storage room. Say. It is a big fridge. That's where all of that goes. This fridge is just for beverages, right? We cannot have Coors Light anymore in the ESPN Madison studio because people in other offices ruined that for us. So we still have it loaded up with some sodas. And Ryan, I will say this. Everything in that fridge, at least for now, is fair game. I stocked it. There are some iced coffee drinks that I was the only one that could drink them at the house, and my wife's kind of out on them now, and so I wouldn't say they're bad. They're like the Kirkland Farm iced coffee. There's just a lot of them, and I'm kind of over them. So I put those in there. You can have those, and there's plenty of other soda products in there. Those are all free range in there. But that yogurt, whoever's that is, that's getting put in the big fridge.
Who puts a yogurt? Who brings yogurt?
It's Pablo. And Pablo,
Pablo uses it to put full on blast. Pablo's the one who's been putting his lunch in there. Pablo, walk that 10 extra feet to the fridge, the big fridge.
I think he might have been started here after you made this declaration. I'm not sure if he was here for that day.
There was a blow
up. Also,
there
is no sign.
There was a blow up.
There's a blow up?
There was a blow up in the office about the fridge.
Okay, I might have been working out of our Milwaukee office that day.
A blow up?
Okay, maybe not a blow up, but maybe a hand grenade.
I don't know why. It just bothers me.
That is an interesting.
I would throw his food away. Because in here, I told him, I'm like, don't put your leftovers in there. That's not what it's there for. And if he did, I threw them in the trash.
It's a really interesting line to walk. I've never once worried about my cans. The can is protecting the beverage entirely.
Yeah, it's just off-putting. It's a beverage. Also,
so if you put food, is it food or drinks?
It's food.
Okay.
But also, they're putting their whole lunchbox in there. That's not a big fridge.
No, it's a very small fridge.
So now you're just eating up all the space. You basically made it your own personal fridge. You bring in stuff, put it in a bigger fridge. We had to fight to get that fridge. So go put it in that fridge. We did. At the old office, back in my day, at the old office on the square, we actually had
That's what this
and
is.
really,
That's what
I
it's
think
about.
every other office, or at least I know Milwaukee office has too, real refrigerators, real size refrigerators.
You've got 4.
We had one at the old office. We didn't bring it here. And honestly, for a hot minute, they're like, you guys don't need a fridge. You can keep stuff on the 3rd floor. Insane sort of logic there. So we're able to get a mini. It's what do we call it? A quarter fridge?
It's a 3/4 fridge.
It's a beer fridge.
That's the mini fridge that I would love to have had in college, right? That fits 3 or 4 30 racks and then pizzas in the freezer.
No, you could have had so many bubblers
on
in
this.
there.
I will say this. Stop talking about that drink. I got a fridge full thanks to my friends at Coors Light. I got a fridge full of Coors Light. Filled it up yesterday. Mountains are blue, and I have a big. It's not quite as big as the fridge here, but it's a big beer cooler type fridge. It's got the glass, a little blue light behind it, so you can see the blue mountains. And I even have a Wisconsin chill sign above it too. So I'm looking forward to going home and enjoying.
What happened? We had a Scalzo and Brust fridge at one point. We had like a branded Scalzo and Brust fridge?
Threw that out the window. It's trash.
It's not. It didn't make its way to Greg's basement.
It was a bad beer that was on that fridge. It was gross beer.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that.
We don't have to talk about that.
We took their spot. And we took their fridge. Threw it.
Bye.
You think Ben Brust probably still uses it? He uses it like for his actual food each day. He probably has that in the Milwaukee office, and he's like, nobody else uses this. This is my fridge.
Yeah,
I can
only
see that.
my fridge.
I'm gonna bring in my own fridge so I don't have to worry about my bubbler drinks.
Just bring out your own cooler every day.
Perfect.
Your own personal cooler. You know how weird that would be?
No, I want one of those. I've seen them. It's like a personal fridge. They're not very they're small. They're like. I don't know, 12 by, they're not super big.
A person, you plug this in?
Yeah, and you basically could keep your lunch in it, but it's like a cooler.
It's not much bigger than what you have for the beverage.
I've seen one smaller than that is my point.
The only argument I can think of for that is if you have severe food allergies where your food can't be near other people's. Otherwise, there's no reason.
I really don't want my food. If I have food that I brought from, I don't want touching other people's food.
Enough to bring your own fridge to work.
That's why I don't bring food to work.
I was about to say, have you ever used that fridge? The big one?
I feel like, and this is
the most type A I've ever seen you.
Well,
so you can tell Rutledge that.
I honestly feel ridiculous and like a big dork bringing lunch. My wife gets mad at me. I won't bring. I hate bringing lunch here. If I do, I only bring it in the actual container, like the Pyrex or whatever.
Yeah.
And I eat it right away because I don't want to put it in the fridge. I don't want it commingling with other people's stuff. And then 2, I already feel like a big loser bringing my lunch in the first place. So I don't do it.
Well, there's nothing lame about bringing. You have to eat.
I'm not saying it's lame. I'm saying it's my own weird mental. I can't do it, especially with a bag, the lunch bag and the whole thing. I just can't. I can't. I just feel like I'm 8. I'm going back to middle school here. I just can't do it. I'm in the wrong.
Exposure therapy. I want to see you bring in a lunchbox someday soon.
No, it won't happen.
No.
It's a me problem. The normal thing to do is to bring in lunch in a lunchbox.
Judgmental Jim.
At least at least he's admitting that.
And
that
I'm not judging you for doing it. I just can't do it. I don't see people with a lunchbox like loser. I just. When I see myself in the mirror with a lunchbox, I think, loser.
Jim sees other people with a lunchbox, and he's like, if that was me, I'd think they suck.
Honestly, here's what I think. I just want to knock it on the ground and push it in a locker. That's basically...
So, in middle
school, swirly.
Middle school, high school, did you, never bring lunch to school? Was that a thing for you?
Yeah, because, we had, the you could
hot
get...
lunch?
Yeah, but you get, a nicer pizza or... you could get decent food. You don't have to have lunch line food.
Those Cedarburg lunches, yeah.
Yeah,
straight from the dry cleaner.
Yeah,
straight from the dry cleaner, baby. Oreos for days.
From Cedarburg to Boca, so whether it's college or whatever, we had a nice cafeteria. We're not getting your dry cleaner cookies. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. There's no dry cleaner cookies.
Farm
in Boca.
to table, fresh foods at Cedarburg High School. Apparently,
they probably have it now. All right, go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Coming up next, we have Anders Lindwall from the Green and Gold movie. He's the director. That's coming up next on Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Hey, this is Matt's Chicago Doppelganger. You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN Madison.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
It's New Year, new deals at Metro Ford of Madison. With 204 new vehicles in stock, Metro Ford is your home for the best selection and the biggest savings of 2025. Enjoy the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, $15.97 per thousand borrowed. Or get the future of driving with the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 72 months. But hurry, these deals end February 3rd. Visit Metro Ford in person or online at metrofordofmadison.com and drive off in the new Ford of your dreams today.
30 for 30 presents the New York Sack Exchange.
Flecko, Lyon, Salam, Gastineau.
If you hit a quarterback and if they got up, you didn't do your job.
They were a brotherhood.
There is no magic formula for controlling the New York Sack Exchange.
But brothers don't always play nice.
Flecko could not stand me.
I should have been waiting all day for you.
Well, get down on the stairs.
I don't know what you were doing. I'm still trying to forgive and forget.
Stream the New York Sack Exchange, now on ESPN+.
Something amazing is happening here. Scientists are using AI to study how whales talk to each other. CDW experts can give researchers the power to process complex data with HP workstations, advanced by AMD Ryzen Threadripper Pro processors. With easier handling of AI workloads, your organization can bring powerful insights to the surface. Make amazing happen. HP, AMD, and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/HPAMD.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
This ain't a diss song, but you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Alex G getting all excited right now.
I love this song. This came out when the Packers won the Super Bowl, and I was in middle school. I mean, I was lit.
He's Alex G. I am Jim Rutledge. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
We are live in the Everlight Solar Studio. I could use a Coors Light. Instead, I'll just drink some water, Prime. You're the problem. Primetime Laura Sean behind the glass. And we are thrilled to be joined by the director of a pretty exciting movie, much hyped movie in the Wisconsin area, coming out nationwide tomorrow. And you can learn more at greenandgoldmovie.com. But we're joined by Anders Lindwall. Anders, thank you so much for taking the time as your movie is gaining traction and gaining notoriety and winning some awards. We appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Howdy. Yeah, no, so stoked to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
So I guess the first question I'll ask, and then, G, you're the big Packer fan here, so you can dig a little bit deeper, but what made you pick this topic, and what was the connection for you? Why did you want to tell this story?
Yeah, my brother and I, we grew up We grew up in the UP, so just north of Wisconsin. So this is our home turf, and 2 hours north of Green Bay, and our grandfather was a dairy farmer, and we love it up north there. We love it so much, and grew up as just diehard Packers fans, and so. We as independent filmmakers, you're just always looking for a story that resonates close to home as you can possibly get. So, we couldn't believe there hadn't been, like a Packers type movie specifically with their fans, or about their fans really ever on the, on kind of like a real large Hollywood scale. So that we got excited thinking about being able to try to get into that world and tell a story that has a lot of meaning to us and is about the people that we grew up around and love. So.
Right. And so as you started to think about it, obviously this is based on a true story, but where did you find the inspiration to, really dig into the Green Bay Packers and their relationship with these farmers?
Yeah. So it's inspired by true events. I should clarify. So there's no farmer that necessarily made the exact bet on the Green Bay Packers, but it is inspired by the true events of loss of small farms in America. It is based on a literal season in the 90s that we're trying to keep a little bit under wraps for spoiler alert stuff. But yeah, I think I forget your original question about it, but just I think maybe can you remind me again? What you just asked about
where did you pull the inspiration and how did this come to be?
I think for anybody who grows up as a Packers fan, I think it's just that type of community, that type of crowd that exists up there is so unique, and I think it gets misrepresented whenever it is in media. That when we've seen it played, so some of that upper Midwest is kind of this hokey, and everybody's got a real thick accent and that kind of thing, and it's the people that I grew up around. I mean, there's certainly some accents here and there, but you just have such a depth and a richness, and with the Packers being the only community-owned sports franchise in America, it's that is such a a meta narrative that needs to be told. That's such a beautiful, beautiful picture of what a representation of that area. So
and you grew up in the UP. Were you in a split county area where it was more Packers fans or Lions fans? How was that?
Totally. Yeah, because we were right on the border of Wisconsin. I tend to think it was probably 70% Packer fans in our town, anyways. But there was definitely some Lions representation, and I think I've been told it's actually depending on what county you were in, you would get different broadcasts. Back when I was a kid, I don't remember, we were only fed Packers games. So I think some counties north of us, they're on also Eastern time zone. They were fed the Lions games, and so I think that was sort of how it was split.
Talking with Anders Lindwall, the director of Green and Gold, of the Green and Gold movie, and one of the names in. I grew up in Wisconsin. I watched this show, I think it was called Coach, with Craig T. Nelson, and I just think there is a little bit of kismet or whatever, that tie-in. Obviously, he's a farmer in this movie, but having him, who played a Minnesota coach forever, with this tie to the movie for the Packers, was this, how did you get him? What was the excitement? How was he to work with? Because obviously he's a pretty legendary, Parenthood, the TV show as well, and Coach are two of the most famous things he's done, but he's got a long and pretty impressive IMDb.
Yeah, no, when you have Coach who's doing a movie about the Green Bay Packers, there's something really sweet about it. I have one of my dreams, and I haven't been able to actualize it because the Packers were playing. But as our marketing, I was I would love to get LaFleur, have it Coach and Coach sit down and talk about the overlap of arts and athletics, and but yeah, I think he was the best, and we wanted him from the beginning. He is a sports nut too, so he understood. That was one of the things he said right away. He's actually knew some of the old Packers players back, whenever it was 60 years ago. So he's a sports nut. So he understood that part of the character, because it's a character who, the character is this old Luddite farmer who wishes it was the 1800s almost, but if he could keep the Green Bay Packers as a part of it, that's what he would. He names his cows after the 68 championship team. He's just obsessed with the Packers. And so, Craig was the perfect fit because he's just, he's been around forever. He's kind of this old school guy, but also understands the spiritual connection to athletics. So
absolutely. And you got to work with film at Lambeau. Is that correct?
We filmed outside of Lambeau, so at that point we didn't have a full partnership with the Packers, and we were honestly we were a little scared of being totally sued by the NFL and the Packers, or it was like we didn't know what we're doing. We're trying to figure this out, so we didn't want to stir up any pot that we couldn't handle. So yeah, it ended up, it was like a tailgate scene that's outside, but you see Lambeau in the background, and but my dream, if I had the partnership with the Packers we have now, it would be like reshoot that scene with like the perfect Packers-Bears game, bitter cold, steam coming out of the urinals, that kind of thing. So
that's a fantastic thing to remember. The steam coming out of back when they were the trough urinals too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it was the trough.
So you have a good relationship with the Packers now. How important were they in all of this? I mean, just how was it working with them?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, it took forever because, to be fair to them, it's like they're just trying to win championships. That's their focus, right? And then we're this random independent movie who would like knock on their door and be like, hello. We were, it was originally called God Loves the Green Bay Packers. And that was one thing that they were, their lawyer was like, I really don't like that, you guys. Could you change that? And I was like, definitely. I would definitely love to change that. And because it was like the spirit of the film is so integrated to the Packers organization. It was just it took a while to like find the right person in the midst of their busyness and their chaos, and me, this like independent filmmaker, just knocking on their door enough times for them to kind of see like, oh yeah, we could see how this would actually be a really great thing to be a part of. And once they saw it in the right lens and had the right view of it, and we could work out the right partnership, they've been just so awesome. Specifically, their corporate partnership team is unreal, like bend over backwards to do whatever they can to help us get the word out. And, we rallied a red carpet event there at Lambeau. And I think for them, they just, it was like all hands on deck helping us move chairs, and it was awesome. So then, we're forever indebted.
I mean, that sounds awesome. But do you have to be a Packers fan to like this movie?
I don't think so. I mean, I grew up as a University of Michigan fan, and I love the movie Rudy.
Okay. All right.
It was like I think I can appreciate all sports. At maybe the younger kids will have a harder time with it. I feel like when I was younger, maybe it was harder to get on board with some of that stuff or get over your ego. But I think we take the nick out of the Bears a little bit here and there, but it's pretty small, and we avoid the Lions altogether. I think that's a good thing this year because it's probably pretty raw from everything. So, but in general, I do think it's not. I think Packers fans, it's like your home video. I think for other people, it's like they can still be in the room and enjoy it and appreciate it because it's really a family story. It's a story about farming and the beauty of community.
Talking with Anders Lindwall, the director of Green and Gold Movie. It is at the AMC and the Marcus starting tomorrow, so you can go see that in the Madison area. You're just reading the IMDb because we don't want to give away too much, but a struggling family farmer wagers everything on a high-stakes championship bet while his granddaughter's musical ambitions could be their ticket to a new beginning. And I want to ask about the radio host and role in there, and I know Charlie a little bit, and but I wanted to ask though. So what about Brian's song? Because I'm a Bears fan. I'm gonna watch this because I grew up in Wisconsin, so I feel like the Wisconsin ties, and as much as like I don't root for the Packers, I know the lore and I know the history, so it's gonna intrigue me on that level. But you mentioned what about Brian's song? That's one that's very Bears centric. Is that one that you've seen, the old TV movie?
I haven't. I don't know that one, actually.
Oh, really? Wow. So it's based off a book, I Am Third, from Gail Sayers, about him and his best friend, a fullback for the Chicago Bears, Brian Piccolo. It starred James Caan and Billy D. Williams back in the 70s. That's the one you want to see, not the more modern one. And it's a true life story about Brian Piccolo, a fullback for the Bears who passes away from, I think, leukemia during the season. And so it's there. Wow. Basically, it's there. Same idea, though, that you said this is about family and friendship and all. That's about, obviously, the Bears is part of it, but it's very much about the human side of things. So, well, now, see, I get the recommendation from you to see your movie, and I'll throw one out to you.
Throw them back.
Yeah, from the 70s.
I'm such a bad director. I've seen so few movies.
That might make you a better director. It's all fresh then to you. But no, I saw that the role here, it says Charlie Barron's radio host. So without giving away the movie, what's that kind of role, and what was the the drive to have that character in there, and how do you like move the story and everything?
Yeah, totally. So we grew up, our town had a little radio show called Telephone Time that was on Monday through Saturday, like 8 a.m. till I think 11 or 12. And it was just people calling in to chat, to talk about things, to buy, sell stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just always so, like, it's still going on. It's not, that hasn't stopped. And it's just such a lovely, just again, like a representation of the area and a way to talk about, what's going on. And for I guess it's hard. I can't go into too much of it for spoiler stuff, but it plays a really big role. And specifically farmers always have their radios on in their barns. If you've ever been inside like a dairy, they're always milking and their radios just blaring. And so kind of having this voice of like this radio who's there the whole time in the whole film, it was like, who do we want for that role? And who other than Charlie Barons would you want?
No, that was a perfect pick for it. Fans will recognize it. But also, you hit a home run with that idea, just from like hearing you describe it. So our company's Good Karma Brands, and we started actually in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and the stations we have, like they have the Polka Show, the Farm Report show. They have shows with Lost and Found, and people have been like, I lost my cat. They're like, oh, I saw a cat on this street. Like, they're still doing that. We still own that station. That still happens in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, which is about an hour north of Madison. So, like, you hit a home run on that because that's exactly a thing that is still going on. And obviously that station's been around for 60, 70, 80, maybe 100 years. So, long before we bought it. So that idea to put that in there was, I think, a great device to kind of move the story along, because it's still a big thing.
Yeah, and it's such a cool, I don't know, it's like, there's something about radio. I mean, maybe I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's like you pay attention to it differently when you only have, that's your only sense that's taking it in, versus like, news on the TV or kind of thing. There's something really special about it. So,
we call it personal, intimate. It's people you like. As someone who grew up listening to radio, I feel like I know people that I listen to on the radio, and we run into it now when people come talk to us. So totally get that aspect of it. So again, this is coming out tomorrow, and again, I do see it's at the Marcus and the AMC in the Madison area. What else would you like us to, or let our fans know about this movie before we let you go here?
Yeah, that's like, I mean, there's so much, like for us, this has been like our last 5 years of grinding every single day on it. I think it's a medium that's underappreciated, maybe like all things, it's like, but we've slaved over this thing, trying to make it authentic as we can. And hopefully it's, kind of a love letter to this area. That's, maybe we keep saying that I hope people can watch it and feel nostalgia for it. And, a lot of our friends who've screened it, that lived in Los Angeles and they've helped on the project, they're like, man, this makes me want to move back. And so maybe it can help boost tourism and boost the state of Wisconsin. But I think just, ultimately just give people a renewed sense of hope and goodness in the world that I think is just rich and ripe in that culture up there. And come check it out, support it in theaters. Maybe that's one of the other things is, we're an tiny independent film that got 1,000 screens, and we're up into Canada now too.
Nice.
It's like crazy how it happened. And we're competing against, just mega, minimum $25 to $30 million movies. And so we're like slugging it out with those guys in the theaters for, I think we're like 4 to 7 days is how much we're guaranteed. And then they re-up after that if we're performing well. So as fast as you can get to a theater, that I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, so we'll throw that out there again. The Marcus Point in Madison and in Sun Prairie and the AMC in Fitchburg all have showtimes for it, and that all starts tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank you,
I do
guys.
have one question for you though before we let you go.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a small town too. Did you have? I was talking about this earlier, and I was getting a lot of flack. I would get Oreos every time I went to the dry cleaner with my parents. Did you have anything like that, where like
unwrapped,
completely random food at an entirely unrelated spot?
I'm trying to think if it probably did, and I just I don't have it in my head.
Most of us don't have that story. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin. I was not just handed random
But
unwrapped
there was also a local
people.
restaurant that would just give fudgesicles to kids as they walked by. I mean, like small town community stuff.
Yeah. there's random stuff like that. I remember going in recently to get like a shot. Like I had to get like a booster or some kind of flu shot.
Sure.
And they just like walked out in the middle of the store in the aisles, and they're like, well, is this good? You want it here? I was like, oh, I thought we'd go into like a room somewhere and do this. they're like, no. I was like, okay, well just, thanks. That kind of thing. So, man, there's so many things that I just love it so much. It feels like small towns feel like the final frontier of America to me. I love
fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to describe it. Anders, thanks so much, and good luck. Hopefully people show up. They keep in theaters even longer.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for helping us get the word out and having me on here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. That's Anders Lindwall, Green and Gold movie. He's the director. It comes out tomorrow. Again, the Marcus and the AMC theaters are two places you can see it in the Madison area. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can lose weight quickly and keep the weight off for good with an easy-to-follow maintenance plan that includes ongoing personal support. And our program costs half as much and works up to twice as fast than most other programs. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Hi, it's Jesse Nelson. I was able to drop 40 pounds thanks to Madison Weight Loss. It's the only program I've ever experienced to actually achieve my weight loss goals. Check out MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule a free consultation and see how the program can help you.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation now at MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
UW Credit Union presents the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Dennis Semra with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Our ESPN Madison UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Tegan Simpson from Oregon High School. What's it like to be a Panther?
I love being a Panther. I love the culture here. I love the teachers here and the people. It's a great school.
You're a wrestler and softball player?
I am.
And then wrestling, how did that come into play?
So I actually learned about wrestling my sophomore year of high school through Panthervision, which is like our school's news. There was a video, they were looking for people to join, and I thought it would be cool. I thought it would keep me in shape for softball season. So I went home and I told my parents, and we went out, we got my first pair of shoes, and I joined.
And you've been to state twice?
Yes, I have.
What's it like in the Kohl Center?
I couldn't even imagine it the first time I went. It's huge. You feel super official, and the lights, the people, the mats, they're super cool.
The 2025 Wisconsin football schedule is here, and you should be too. Season tickets are on sale now, so don't miss your chance to jump around at Camp Randall Stadium this fall. Last year, 6 of 7 home games were sellouts, proof that there's nothing like game day with the Badgers. Secure your spot for marquee matchups against Ohio State, Washington, and Iowa, and enjoy the best value to see Wisconsin football in action. For more information and to get your season tickets, visit UWBadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
You missed any of today's show?
Yeah.
You can watch back at ESPN Madison's YouTube. This is Back Wisconsin, the man, Apple, Spotify, and those great places, including our interview with Green and Gold movie director Anders Lindwall. I'm Jim Rutledge. He is Alex G. Primetime Laura Sean behind the glass. Alex, you told me as we were coming back from break there that you've been invited to go polar plunging tomorrow?
Yeah, I've never polar plunged before, and my girlfriend and her friends, they're going to go at 7 a.m. before work in the river.
For a cause or just to do it?
Nah, just cuz. And I really want to go, but also then I'm going to have to come back and shower, and the coldness is going to stink. I don't know. It seems like it's a...
And the river water is going to stink.
That's the real thing. It's going to stink, like, actually.
He survived dry cleaner Oreos. He'll survive the river.
True. Would you go polar? I don't see the appeal.
I mean, if it's for a cause, I get it.
That's different, yeah, I guess. But like,
I guess if it's just to do it.
So neither of you have done it.
I'm not TJ Watt. Like, I'm not doing it for like athletics to like help
also,
my body.
Ryan's like a skin and bones.
Yeah,
like,
I would.
I have seen that man in the gym. Do not sell him short. He grinds. All right.
I'm not saying he's not strong, but like I have friends like. I have friends in my school built the same way Ryan is. Like they're wiry strong, but they still are like there's not insulation.
Yeah. Are you saying I have insulation?
No, I'm saying I have insulation, even though I work at a Carbon Health. Just do the cryo instead. This has been Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Ordering pizza for game day can be a tough call to make. Do you get a pizza, or are you craving